In this African folktale of the African city, there's a building you'll never see on a sunny day. It stands tall and glassy, but only when the rain falls. If you've seen it, you're already in danger, and if you've entered it, well, you're not supposed to be here anymore. This is the true African folktale story of the day. I saw it for myself, and why I wish I hadn't. I am Mariam Adiwoyi, a Lagos fashion store owner. You know, when I first started telling people about what I saw, they said I was chasing clout. Some even laughed and said I should turn it into a TikTok skit. But if you've lived in this city long enough, especially Lagos, you'll know that not every strange thing is a joke. I have lived in Surulere for 15 years, selling imported clothes on Adeniran Ogunsanya Street. My life is simple: open shop, arrange my mannequins, attend to customers, close by 8 p.m., and go home to my small apartment. I'm not the type to go poking my nose into other people's business. But what happened last year in the rainy season, it still shakes me when I think of it. It was a Tuesday afternoon in June. The rain had started suddenly, one of those heavy Lagos rains that soak you to the bone in 5 minutes. I was standing under the shed of my shop, hugging myself, and watching the road flood. Normally, there's an empty lot across from my store, just bare red sand, weeds, and a rusty signboard that reads, "Future Site of Sunrise, Modern City Plaza." That sign had been there for almost 10 years. Nothing ever happened. But that day, through the curtain of rain, I saw something that made me blink hard. Where the empty lot was supposed to be, stood a massive glass building. Shiny, tall, with blue-tinted panels that reflected the gray sky. The glass was so clean it looked like the kind of offices you see in Dubai travel ads. People were walking in and out, holding umbrellas, wearing suits, carrying shopping bags. I thought, maybe Sunrise Plaza has finally been built and I didn't notice. But that was impossible. You can't build something that big overnight. Then, just as I stepped out into the rain to look closer, a Danfo bus splashed muddy water on me, and when I wiped my face and looked again, the building was gone. The empty lot was back, with its weeds dancing in the rain. That evening, I told my neighbor Amaka. She laughed and said, "Mariam, you day watch too many Nollywood ghost films," but I knew what I saw. Still, I didn't mention it again until 2 weeks later. This time, it was a Saturday evening. The rain was lighter, just a steady drizzle. I was on my way back from Balagan Market, carrying a big nylon bag of stock. As I passed the empty lot, I froze. The building was there again. The glass shimmered with raindrops. I could see the reflection of traffic lights on its surface. But something was odd. There was no sound. Even though I saw moving people, I couldn't hear their footsteps or voices, just the rain. One man in a long gray coat was standing by the door, as if waiting for me. He was tall, with dark skin and a clean-shaven head. He smiled when he saw me and made a small gesture, like he was inviting me in. I don't know what possessed me, but I stepped toward the entrance. My shoes sank into the muddy ground, but as soon as I reached the edge of the lot, my foot landed on smooth, shiny marble. The rain didn't touch me anymore. It was like stepping into another world. The inside was bright and warm, with golden lights. There were escalators going up and down, and shops with glass fronts. But the brands, I didn't recognize a single one. Not even the fonts looked familiar. The clothes in the windows were strange, not old-fashioned, but not exactly modern either. A woman in a red dress walked past me. She smiled, but her eyes were empty, like she was looking through me. I called out, "Hello." She didn't respond. I walked past a shoe store, and that's when I noticed something that made my stomach twist. All the price tags were written in a language I'd never seen before. Suddenly, there was a loud sound, like a bell tolling, underwater. Everyone stopped moving. They all turned their heads towards me at the same time. My body went cold. The man in the gray coat appeared at the top of the escalator. He didn't smile this time. He began walking down slowly, his eyes fixed on me. I ran. I don't even remember if the sliding doors opened or I just burst through them, but one moment I was inside. And the next I was standing in the rain again, on the muddy lot, soaked to my skin. The building was gone. I stayed away from that street for months, but Lagos is small, and one day I had to pass by again. It was raining. The building was there. This time, I didn't even slow down. But as I passed, I saw something in the reflection of the glass, my own face, but older, maybe 10 years older. She was inside the building, watching me. Since then, I've heard whispers. A kick driver swore his cousin disappeared after entering that same lot on a rainy day. An Okada rider told me his passenger once asked to be dropped at Sunrise Plaza during a rainy storm and vanished into thin air. Now, whenever the sky turns gray, I lock my shop early. Because in Lagos, rain doesn't just bring floodwater. Sometimes, it brings things you should never enter. Some people say the building is just an illusion, but I saw the faces in its glass, and one of them was mine. If you ever walk the streets in the rain, and you see it, don't go closer, just run, because some doors should never be opened. If this story kept you on the edge of your seat, hit that like button, share it with someone who loves a good African folktale mystery, and subscribe because I have many more true African folktales that you'll never forget.